All right, this is your last perspective quiz. Yay! And in this quiz, we're going to be drawing a house with a peaked roof and within the same scene, a fence, line of fence posts. And I'll have you do at least 5 of those fence posts. So we'll begin. This will be in 2-point perspective. Again, because of my setup, I will be doing this quiz demonstration in a portrait orientation, but for your quiz, I would recommend you do landscape. It'll just give you more space. But I'm gonna start with my barn and the peaked roof. So I'm gonna keep everything generally below the horizon line. This is reaching back to 2 quizzes that we took separately. We are merely taking those concepts and combining them. Because if you recall, we had a quiz about drawing a house with a peaked roof, and then we also had a quiz about drawing 5 fence posts. By this point in the semester, you should be pretty well versed in what to do for these 2.1-point perspective boxes. You'll notice I'm not going all the way back to the vanishing point. I'm just aligning it correctly and then bringing it back as far as it needs to go. Remember, for the peaked roof, finding the transparent box is important. I won't talk a whole lot through this. I will mention some basic things just to remind you, but hopefully merely the visuals will remind you of something that you should have already studied and taken a quiz over, so this should be review. Make it that high. Oh. Remember, this goes back to the vanishing point, whatever the opposite vanishing point is. I'm gonna make that line a little bit better. Okay, there we go. I will allow you to keep your lines, but just for sake of professionalism, I will give an indication of erasing mine. We've got these edges here. All right, that is my peaked roof house. Now we're gonna transition to the fence posts. So I'm going to have these guys interact and overlap a little bit actually with my house. This will be my first fence post here. I'm gonna make sure that he's nice and straight. That didn't look so good. My first fence post, I'm just gonna give him a little bit of width just so you guys can see that here. All right, remember top and bottom, go to the vanishing point. When it comes to the fence post, he will be in 1-point perspective even though the whole scene is in 2-point perspective. I'll make that line a little bit longer. There we go. Remember, you can put the second fence post wherever you want. So that will be my second fence post. Remember to find the middle. There's the middle. That middle goes back to the vanishing point. And remember, the top of the one previous goes through the middle of the most recent lands at an intersection, and that's where the third one is, and you use that formula for all the rest of them. One previous, connect it to the middle of the current to find the next one. And I'll have you put in 5 fence posts. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. And I can shade it in just to make it bold so you guys can see. And then if I were to erase this and show what would be seen in reality here, all of these guidelines would be erased. And we would have something that looks like this with our fence posts. And certainly if you wanted to, you can connect them so they actually look like a fence. Something like that there. Don't forget that those lines, if you did something like that to connect them, they would need to go back to the vanishing point. And there we go. We now have our peaked roof house with 5 fence posts.